Good. Call the October 10th meeting of the Amelia County Economic Development Authority to order, please. Have a quorum, I believe. Would you call the roll, Mr. Harvey?
Okay. Mr. Diffenbach.
Here.
Mr. Tatum.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Llewellyn.
Here.
Ms. Bullock. Ms. Scott.
Here.
And Mr. Ball.
Here.
Is Ms. Bullock online by chance?
Don't see her.
Okay. All right.
Actually, we stand for the invocation and then the pledge.
That's right. Heavenly Father, again, we come before you and thank you for this beautiful county we serve in. And Lord, give us wisdom to make decisions that will enhance this growth to your good and to the good for the people. In Jesus' name, we offer our prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome our guest this morning, Mr. Jones. You know, communications from citizens. You have something to say, Mr. Jones?
No, like I said, I'm just a spectator.
Okay. All right, we'll move to the approval of the minutes. You had a chance to look at all the package you got? There's no additions or corrections. I'll entertain the motion to accept the minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Eldon, thank you.
Second.
Winston, thank you. Motion on the floor to accept the minutes. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Unanimous. We have the treasury report in our packet. Any corrections or additions to the treasury report? Here, none, I'll accept the motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Motion to accept.
All right. Thank you, Robert.
Second.
Thank you, Winston. Any further discussion? All in favor of accepting the treasurer's report as presented? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Nose, like sign? Again. Unanimous. Old and new business. Mr. Taylor, Harvey, I think you're up for that.
Old and new business.
Funding update.
Funding update. We talking about the appraisal? Is that what that title means?
I think that's the request for Go Virginia and.
Yeah, go Virginia, BDL,
If you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah. At your last meeting, you approved the filing of the applications to Go Virginia for $100,000 to do the master planning and due diligence for the Richardson Road tract. And I prepared the application, submitted it to Go Virginia on the 29th of September, which you have a copy in front of you, for $100,000, which, and on page 5 is sort of the individual items that would be included in that grant request. The Go Virginia Executive Committee has reviewed the summary of the application, and they had a few questions and had quite a bit of discussion about it, but it appears that they're willing to support the application. It does not have to go through the state board because it is at the $100,000 level, which can be approved administratively through the Region 3 Council as well as DHCD.
Okay.
So they will consider the application in their project review committee next week, and then by the full council on the 18th of, I should say, a little later this month. And I expect that we should have the full council's approval by the time of your next meeting. And then DHCD will review the application and sign off on it hopefully. So I would expect by the end of the year that we will be under contract negotiations for $100,000. That's sort of where we are on that one. On the next one was you also approved at your last meeting, the filing of the application to VEDP, which is similar master planning due diligence, but it also included funding for a sign, clearing and grubbing of about 30 acres on the first part of that, improvement of the entranceway into the industrial park. VEDP issued their grant guidelines for their business ready sites program just recent, a couple of weeks ago. The first step was the filing of a letter of intent to apply. That has been filed with the EDP. The full application is due on January 11th, which I'll complete, send in on your behalf. So that is in process. I suspect that they will receive the application and in the early part of next year, around the January, February timeframe, which I would expect that there'll be some sort of a site visit from the EDP and the consultants to look at the site. And the decisions for funding will probably be later on in the fiscal year, which would be late spring in the May timeframe, because money has to be committed by the end of the fiscal year till June 30th. So that would be there. They have $125 million available statewide for investment. Last year, that was a very competitive program, and I expect it will be very competitive. I would anticipate the application it will have a difficult time competing for the funds. We would be requesting approximately $735,000, which would be the match that you paid for the acquisition of property. But it would be in both of those grants. There's no out-of-pocket cash coming from the EDA.
I thought I read somewhere where the governor said he had more than, I can't remember, 200 million
For site development,
Yeah.
there's 125 million for that piece, and then there's another 75 million that they appropriated for acquisition of a large. So yes, that is correct.
Any questions about either one of the grants applying for it? Not, we'll move on to the VML-VACO.
Okay, that, one of the, I guess BML VACO has been in here working. We were in the process of securing some funding, trying to, I guess basically a line of credit to free up some money for our development cost and that type of thing. Obviously, it didn't come through like we were hoping, and we're kind of in a holding pattern. I guess the biggest bugaboo was the every lending institution was going to require the Board of Supervisors to come in and back it. And there were going to be some significant costs to secure all the funding. So that's on hold. The appraisal, the executive board talked about that. we hadn't had any luck in finding somebody to update it at the level that the original one was done. And because we didn't have a requirement, immediate requirement for it right now, and we've got work going on, we thought it might be a good idea to just sit on that for a while. It's been rezoned since we purchased it, but we're getting ready to do some work over there. So far as cleanup and that type thing, which is going to change the value as well. So we were going to recommend just hold off on that. And the contact person that we had been working with at VML Vaco is a fellow by the name of Taylor Bryant.
Yep.
He's moved on, and I'm not exactly sure where he went, but Robert Lauderberg is back on the case. He's their chief anyway, but he'll be our representative until they get somebody else to move in. So that's where we are with the VML Vaco.
Okay.
And we did pay, I think it came out of the county side, we paid them their annual retainer of $2,500 this past month. So they're good for another year.
Okay. All right, any questions about any of that? I think we're in the hurry up and wait stage right now.
Sounds like it.
Deed restrictions. I got that in your packet. There were three main things I think we had to do or needed to do. One was select a name for the property. And I think we decided on or put forth the Amelia County Regional Park, Economic Park. Since we're going for a regional grant and there are no regional parks around, we thought it'd be a good idea to put that in the name. Maybe that would help us with the PR a little bit. Second thing was 200-foot buffer, and it's in section 6.1, I believe. The setbacks, no improvement shall be constructed, erected, maintained, or permitted within 200 foot of the northern boundary of the Liberty County Regional Commerce Park. The other thing we were discussing and make sure we got was under number 13, the right of first refusal. The main part of that is the EDA reserves the right to purchase said property within 60 days thereafter for the same terms and conditions contained in such bona fide offer made by the owner or by any third party. So if somebody wants to sell your undeveloped lot, you get an offer, you've got 60 days to match the offer and let it go. Brady and Neil and I worked really hard on this. And we sent it to Jeff, see if we could get see if he had anything you wanted to add, and we haven't heard back from him. So any questions about anything on this deed of dedication and restrictions?
I found it to be very compact but efficient.
Thank you. I've read it so many times that. Darby?
Well, and I think the good thing about it is, we can adopt them today or next month. We only really need them if we're showing it to somebody, talking to another party about doing an interactive transfer and something. So if the light bulb comes on and we'd like to discuss making a change or something to it, until it's recorded or contracted, it's pretty easy to go fiddling with it.
I would, this is just me now. Anybody have any other suggestions? I would like to adopt it today, pending anything we hear from Jeff. And further on down the agenda, we're talking about perhaps not having a meeting in November. So least if somebody called and wanted to talk about it, something we at least have something. Then we get it recorded before the sale went through.
Okay, going back, it's not, I guess it's just misspelled. On maintenance 5.8, down in the third paragraph, if the owner of the parcel has tailed, I guess that's failed. Or should be failed.
Which one you on, Martin?
Maintenance 5.8, it's on page 5.
Yep. Failed. Make that correction. The owner of the property has failed to remove such rubbish, trash, garbage, blah, blah. Marty caught a typo and Brady caught a typo. Good. So what's your pleasure on this? You can just hold on to it until probably the December meeting?
I agree with you. I'd like to go ahead and, like I say, we got, if we have some variables, we can deal with just the variable, but we got something here that's, I think, covers the facet of everything.
Neil, in your travels and dealings and career, is this about the middle of the road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was very well done. And I would just encourage us, like if we have a potential person coming in, that when you read this from the perspective of I was just reading it this morning, thinking about if I was coming to purchase, how does this make me feel? And there's a good bit in here that has to be done. So I think what we need to do is make sure that when a prospective client comes in, that we really explain this so that it doesn't appear like we really don't want people. We want people, but we really are committed to a beautiful park.
Right.
I think it's a little bit of like a marketing challenge, I guess. We want to emphasize these are here because we want a beautiful park, not because we're, trying to control every facet of your life. So that was the only thing when I read it as a potential purchaser, like what would this, it's very spelled out. But on the flip side of that, if you don't spell it out, you're gonna have troubles.
Yeah.
So I felt like it wasn't over, that I thought it was a pretty good middle of the road.
Well, one thing about it, you're protecting the interests of the people that are already there.
Yes,
Somebody else is not going to mess up their playground.
Right.
And after they're protected by the same.
but I think that should be our, as a board, and
Yeah. Oh,
we
yeah.
really need to put that, it's how you, if you read this with that in mind, makes sense. If you just read it, I just think we need to be careful to sell it that way, that we want it to be beautiful, or as nice as can be for a park. But I'm with you, Mr. Noel, and I think we move it along.
Any comments, Brady?
I mean, I think it looks good, document looks good. I mean, I agree with Elvin that anytime a prospect comes along, they need to be fully informed on
Right.
what our expectations are. That way, the relationship doesn't sour.
Yeah.
At any point. But I'm excited about it. Okay, that was good.
I guess we would just, to finalize, we would rather have people that understand this and want to do this than people who would be looking for,
It bring a better clientele in.
exactly.
All right, so what's your pleasure?
Motion to proceed with this document.
All right. And that's with the typo change and correction and the proviso that if our attorney comes back with something, we can always change it before it's filed.
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Llewellyn. Get a second to that motion?
Second.
Winston, thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Another unanimous vote. EDA site cleanup and abatement.
Okay. We've had the building, the improvements examined, and we do have some asbestos over there. So we're in the process of issuing an RFP for cleanup. I think the plan is, there's very little asbestos, but it's there. The idea is to get somebody to abate that, and then the contractor, whoever wins the RFP, will, for the major cleanup, will have a clean site to do. It won't be anything they'll have to work around. They can just go ahead, take care of it like they would normally. And hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have some activity, at least on the street, with RFPs being issued. And I guess everybody who's been down through there the last week or so has noticed that Public Works and Darrell Goff, his guys, installed some gates up there. So you can't just pull off the road and drive through there and wander around anymore. It'll take a little more effort than what it had been. Any questions about that?
No.
But let me back up then for 1 minute. I meant to, when we were talking about this Go Virginia application, the Heartland Regional Industrial Facilities Authority is going to have to participate with us. And I've talked to the majority of the county administrators. They're all on board. It's going to be on the agenda for their next meeting. So
Okay.
hopefully the resolution that's in the back of your packet, it's next to last page or two, that's for the Department of Regional Authority, and don't see any need. I don't see any worry about that. I guess that's page 10. So that's what the authority was formed for way back in the year 2000. And several county administrators told me that once we got talking about how we needed a partner. So it was nice to know that everything going to move forward. Folks will help each other.
Yeah. Just like with the you guys at the Tobacco Commission, it's always nice to have somebody that knows who you are and willing to help you on an impediment. All right. Ashley just walked out, right?
I think we could get maybe Brady to talk to them about well, here she is.
Media update.
I can do that. Amelia County Economic Development Authority officially has a LinkedIn page. That's good. We'll start making connections. With some of you all, if you have LinkedIn, you'll probably get a request. And then we'll start making some posts here probably every week, every 2 weeks. Initially, probably focusing on the work that's been done at the business park. Maybe just spotlighting some of the businesses that are in there. So that's really where we're at. So we have a page up and going, and we'll start making some impact through social media, which is not my strong suit, even though I'm young. I'm not a social media expert by any means. I don't have social media, but Ashley and I will tackle it together.
Yes, we will.
Put a little dash beside your social media saying
Yeah.
old soul, right?
As far as the website goes, the one thing I am looking to do is to partner with the Chamber of Commerce and some other local resources in order to, like RJ Smith, put it on the website. And then along with a lot of other things that Brady and I are working on. I'm gonna try to reach out to VDOT and see if we can't get some traffic information, anything they might recommend, and I'm gonna basically review other EDA sites to kind of mimic what they have. So that's the process on the EDA portion of the website.
Be nice if VDOT would let you put a link in there to report potholes and stuff like that. Easy to find rather than go into the VDOT website.
Because they have a link on their website that I can also copy and put it on ours.
Yeah.
So I'll show you things, I can do it. But I will also be wanting to get in touch with you to kind of do a write-up as well. And then see what else you think would be best to show on the EDA side.
Good.
So on top of that, we had a contact from one of the new companies that's going to locate inside the EDA park. Pretty significant operation he's bringing in there, and he's from out of state. One of the things that he left me with at the end was that he found the website to be very helpful, and it was a good experience that he had trying to get his information, get his questions answered without having to call somebody and get it. So,
Well, it's quite an accomplishment in the last year and a half.
yeah, I think Ashley is to be commended.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Give her an applause.
All right, next item is the EDA November meeting. As you could tell by all these agenda items, we're pretty much in a holding pattern. We've done everything we can do right now as far as the grants go. We took care of the deed restrictions, the site cleanup and abatement. We're waiting for RFP to be parameters to be set so we can get that on the street. And there's a lot of things going on in November. And I think you got the VACO meeting and the holidays and everything. So be our suggestion to not have a meeting in November. If anybody knows any reason why we should have it, please let me know. Any burning desires you know is going to be happening in November, you need to take care of. All right, I guess we need to vote on that. Mr. Harvey?
Okay, you want me to call the roll?
Sure.
On that? Okay. All right, so the question is whether the EDA cancels their November meeting and starts up again in December. Mr. Diffenbach,
Yes.
Mr. Tatum,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Ms. Bullock is not here, Ms. Scott,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, that is
Unanimous.
unanimous.
All right. Bring us to the River Street update.
Okay, River Street, there's a lot going on. We've got two Betty projects going on, which is basically slugs of money that the federal government is funneling through DHCD. We've got two of those going on now. We're in a group of counties to the west of us, the kind of hubs from around Lynchburg, but it's Pennsylvania, Bedford, all the way to Amelia. They have done quite a bit of construction. There's not enough, I guess, supplies and personnel to do it all at once everywhere. So they started in Pennsylvania and Charlotte County. And I think Halifax got a little bit as well. They're wrapping up some of those communities and actually putting people, lighting them up, giving them the service. Amelia's engineering is pretty much done. They have started negotiating with some of the contractors that are finishing up in those earlier counties. So we expect to see activity on the side of the roads, possibly December, but certainly by the first of the year. They're moving along. We've got 3 county-owned sites identified that they're going to put switching stations in. One of them is going to be a little patch of ground behind the old Wells Fargo building. And we're going to put, they're going to co-locate in a hut that's going to mainly support the county's new radio system up at Soapstone Road. And down at the Manborough Convenience Center, they're going to build a hut there to put their switching equipment in. The VADI 2024 grants, applications are coming up. And the day after the Board of Supervisors meeting is the deadline for DHCD to be notified as to whether the county is going to plan to participate. We don't have to commit to anything, but we have to let them know if we want to be, if we think we've got an application coming. So my guess is that we will, though. It seems like with the second phase, they pretty well feel like they've got pretty much all the counties going to be covered. One of the things that changed between application 1 and application 2 was the definition of broadband. They could only go in areas that wasn't served. And the earliest definition was 25 down and 3 up. So all of their areas that they could go into couldn't, if it was 25 and 3, they couldn't go into it. So the definition has changed now. It's 100 down, and I think it's 20 up. So that allowed them to be able to get into other areas. And I guess the new iteration, I mean, the definition changes for a third time, they'll possibly be able to bring fiber optic cable into those different areas. The River Street's been here a long time, and there's been a lot of talk about them. There's admittedly been some frustration because we haven't moved along as quick as we thought we were. Originally, this was a wireless project because it was quicker and it was affordable, whereas burying fiber optic cable just really wasn't affordable. COVID changed all that. The federal government put just massive amounts of money into rural communities to do fiber as opposed to wireless. Kind of rendered the wireless obsolete before it got started. You know, hopefully it'll still have some applications, serve some applications, but the thing about River Street is they're a cooperative. That's their mother, I guess it's Wilkes Telephone Company, Wilkes County Telephone Company, and they committed to have price ceilings. So we're happy to have them in the market because the price ceilings, it's all about what can you get, and if they're in at a level that's not feeding shareholders and things, it's going to be good for our citizens. So happy to get to the point where we're going to start seeing some River Street construction around, in addition to the TDS that we've seen and Connects and Comcast. I went from having a DSL hookup for the last 20 years, and it worked well enough, but we were able to switch over to Comcast because Comcast ran the line down through during this entire project, and it's a world of difference. So I hope everybody gets to experience the same thing before too long.
All right, thank you for the update. Hopefully people will say, once they get it, they say it was worth the wait. All right. I don't see any need for a closed meeting. Anybody have anything for the betterment of the EDA? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, Ellen, thank you.
Second.
Winston,
Come on today.
You got everyone on
On a
all
roll.
in favor, aye?
All right.
Opposed? Like so. Thank you. Good meeting.
But in December, Dexter and I'll have a report for you. We're headed to the Governor's Summit on Rural Prosperity over in Blackstone. So
There you go.
maybe we'll hear something that